Okay, so today we are going to make a California poppy art project. The materials you need are 2 pieces of paper, a pencil if you want, watercolors, a black Sharpie or a black crayon, some red and orange colored crayons or pastels, kind of these shades, and some tape. Or you could use glue and scissors. Okay, so I started working on this one, but we're gonna add more poppies. So I'm gonna go step by step on a blank piece of paper, but it's gonna kind of end up like this, but with more flowers. So you want your paper to go horizontally away from you, and you're going to take your watercolors and you're gonna paint the stems and the background of your poppy field. So you're only gonna use the color green, and you're just gonna paint stripes up your paper. Now what you wanna do is you wanna make them different heights and lengths and different shades. So some of them you wanna put a lot of paint on your brush and they'll come out darker, and then some of them you only put a little paint on and they'll come out lighter. Do you see that? That they're all kind of different shades of the same color green. So you're gonna keep going across your whole paper. And I left like some gaps in between the lines. And if your watercolor palette has another shade of green, like mine has a light green and a dark green, you could use that second shade in between, or you can stick with the first shade and go right in between your lines, just so they're all different, like that. You're just gonna keep going so that you have like a nice sort of faded looking background that's going to represent stems and grass. Okay, so once yours looks to a point where you like it, you're gonna put it aside so that it can dry. So you're gonna place this to the side, and watercolor dries very quickly, so it's only gonna take a few minutes. Now, if you don't have watercolor, you could do this with crayons or markers, absolutely, or oil pastels. So to make our poppies, you're going to take a piece of paper and you're gonna cut it into smaller squares or rectangles. You're gonna cut it into smaller pieces. These are about the size of the palm of my hand. Once you have your square, you're going to cut out a circle. Now, a good trick is to fold it in half, and then you can cut a half circle. And then when you open it up, it makes a circle. But poppies aren't a perfect circle. So once you have your circle, then you could take your scissors and you could kind of shape it and cut away just a little bit so it looks more like a poppy rather than a perfect circle. Does that make sense? So once you have your poppy, you're gonna take your black marker. My dog's under the table. She wants to say hi. Hi, Riley. Hi, hi. Once you have your poppy, you're gonna take your black marker and you're gonna draw a little circle in the middle, like that. And then you're gonna draw some dashes around it, like that. Then you're gonna take your red or orange pastels or crayons. I'm gonna put another piece of paper underneath this so I don't draw on my table. And you're gonna color in your whole poppy. And what I like to do is I like to start in the middle and work my way out so that it looks like a real flower. And sometimes I like to mix two different shades together. So I did like a darker orange, and then now I'm doing like a kind of tangerine orange. Like that. So I'm gonna put that aside, and I'm gonna make a few more. You wanna make probably 5 flowers or more, 4 or 5. Make your flower. You draw the middle part and you color it in. This one's gonna be red. And I'm using pastels, but if you don't have pastels, you can totally use crayons. You could keep using your watercolors. I did this one in watercolor. They just don't come out quite as bright, but that's okay. I'm gonna make one more. So I'm gonna fold it in half, cut out my circle, and then cut out a little bit more so that it looks more like a flower. So it's not a perfect circle. Draw my dot, my little lines, and this one's gonna be a yellow poppy. Starting from the middle and working my way out. And I'm using 2 different shades of yellow, but you don't have to. Poppies are usually, well, California poppies are red, orangey, or yellow. Add a little bit of orange in. Okay, so now I've got all these poppies ready to go. I'm gonna go back to my watercolor paper. This one's still a little wet, so I'm gonna leave it to the side, and I'm gonna go back to my example one. And you're gonna take your poppy and you're gonna fold it in half, and then in half again, so it makes a triangle. When you open it up, it kind of stands up a little bit on its own. It doesn't perfectly lay flat, so it kind of makes it 3D. Then you're gonna take a little bit of tape, roll it into a tube, or you can use a little bit of glue, put it right on the back in the middle, and you're gonna stamp it down on the top of one of the stems, any one you want. So maybe that one. And you're just gonna keep going with that process like 5 times. So you fold it in half, you fold it in half again, pinch tight, unfold, turn it over, put a little piece of tape or glue, right in the middle on the back, and stamp it down. And they can go off the page. Some can be higher, some can be lower. Let's do it one more time. Fold, fold, pinch, unfold, tape, stamp it down. And I got one more. Fold it, unfold, unfold, tape the back, stick it on the middle back, and stick it on your artwork. And you should get a beautiful poppy mixed media 3D art project. See how the flowers aren't perfectly flat on the page? they kind of pop off the page. That's my favorite part. I hope you guys enjoyed it.